Hare Krishna. Today we are going to study the verse number 30 of chapter number 4 of Bhagwat Gita as it is. And in today's verse, we will come to know about the real aim of all kinds of yajna sacrifices, about which we are studying from verse number 24 of this chapter. Now let us first recite the verse and then we will understand the meaning of it by reading Srila Prabhupada's purport as to what Krishna exactly wants us to understand and learn. Sarvepyete yagya vido yagyapita kalmashah yagya shishtam amrita bhujo yanti brahma sanatanam सर्व्यप्येते यज्ञविदो यज्ञशपितकल्मषाः यज्ञशिष्टा अमृतभुजो यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातनम. Sarve, all. Api, although apparently different. Ete, all these. Yajna conversant with the purpose of performing. Yajna, sacrifices. Kshapita, being cleansed of the result of such performances. Kalmashaha, sinful reactions. Yajna shishta, as a result of such performances of yajna. Amrita bhujaha, those who have tasted such nectar. Yanti, do approach. Brahma, the supreme. Sanatanam, eternal atmosphere. Krishna is saying that all the performers who know the meaning of sacrifice, they become cleansed of sinful reactions. And having tasted the nectar of the remnants of such sacrifice, they go to the supreme eternal atmosphere. Now this verse is very, very important and it is going to tell us the outcome, the main aim of each and every yajna which we have discussed in the previous verses. Now let us read Srila Prabhupada's purport to have a clear understanding of today's verse. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Srila Prabhupada says that the main purpose of all the different kinds of yajna sacrifices about which we have studied till now is to control the senses. Sense gratification is the root cause of our existence in this temporary material world, where there is so much of pain and suffering every moment. But because our intellect is covered with the thick covering of Maya, which is the illusionary power of Krishna, we feel that there is so much of enjoyment and happiness. Hence, we have more and more desires for all kinds of sense enjoyments. Srila Prabhupada says that the tendency of sense enjoyment is animalistic propensity, and human beings are not meant to use their intelligence for sense enjoyment. Rather, human life is meant for sense control. And to help us to practice sense control, Krishna has given us so many varieties of yajna sacrifices. There are students, brahmacharis, grihasthas, businessmen, intellectuals in our society. This is the reason that dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yog yajna and swadhyaya yajna is prescribed. But the main aim of all kinds of yajna is sense control. The brahmacharis surrender their mind to their spiritual master and do not listen to anything which is not in connection with Krishna. The brahmacharis serve their guru by all their means, like cleaning the ashram and collecting firewood from the forest and begging alms, and whatever they get, they give it to Guru Ma, the wife of Guru. And after doing all this, the brahmacharis will never eat until asked by the Guru to have prasad. This is how brahmacharis surrender their mind to the Guru, and thus their senses are in perfect control. And brahmacharis do not have any connection with women. The sense control that is practiced by the grihasthas is by having sense gratification in a restricted manner. The grihasthas are not supposed to be having any connection with any other woman or man other than their married spouse. For this, the institution of marriage is in the society for only humans and not for any animal. The grihasthas are expected to follow the rules of marriage with complete sanctity. And as far as the vanprasthis and the sannyasis are concerned, they have no business even with their own married wife. This type of sense control is practiced so that one may spiritually advance, and then the highest goal of human life is attained by such a person. Srila Prabhupada says that what to talk about the spiritual life and the spiritual gain. In material life also, no one can ever achieve success without sacrifice. Sacrifice is the base of all kinds of success. The students who wish to score high grades sacrifice their sleep and all kinds of other enjoyments like watching TV or spending time in social media. Similarly, parents sacrifice a lot of their comforts and enjoyments for children, especially in their growing age. Then the athletes and people working for the film industry or airlines or in the modeling world, everyone sacrifices something or the other to achieve higher goals. And then we find some people leaving a particular food item to please either some demigod or some person. So, sacrificing is very common and we are very familiar with it. Now, we have to think a bit deeply, that is the result that is obtained by any kind of material sacrifice is permanent or temporary. And the answer is this, that everything is temporary because this material world is a temporary place and no person or any achievement or riches, wealth will stay with any person forever. So, no matter if a person becomes a doctor, engineer, lawyer, or maybe Miss India or Miss Universe, or very successful businessman, or maybe an IS or PCS, or maybe the Prime Minister or the President, nothing will stay permanently. Now let us understand that why did we talk about all this? It is only to have an understanding that without sacrifice there is no gain even in the material world. Now let us revert back to today's verse where Krishna says that the person who understands the main aim of all kinds of sacrifices and have tasted the nectarian fruit of it will advance in the spiritual path and reach to the highest position of Brahma Jyoti, which is the destination of the Nirakarvadis or will reach to Golok Vrindavan Dham, which is the eternal home of Krishna. And it is the most desired destination of all the devotees, where the devotee enjoys the direct association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada says that in Dravya Yagya, people sacrifice their money and property for the cause of making old age homes, orphanages, hospitals, schools, etc., for the good of society. Then in Tapo Yagya, people follow 4 months of strict austerities from Devshaini Ekadashi to Dev Utni Ekadashi, that is from the month of July to October. Then in Ashtang Yoga, the practitioner of Patanjali Yoga practices very difficult exercises of breath control. And lastly, the people who are intellectually inclined sacrifice all kinds of lower enjoyments to study various scriptures, and the main aim of all the kind of yajna sacrifice is only and only sense control. Srila Prabhupada explains to us that only controlling senses will not serve the highest purpose of life. Controlling the senses is the basic requirement. Once the senses are controlled, then it should be employed in the service of Krishna, and then only the highest purpose of human life can be achieved. Srila Prabhupada says that in Bhagwatam, clear instructions is given to us. Krityadhyayato Vishnum Tretayam Yajato Makhai Dwapare Paricharyayam Kalau Tadhari Kirtanat. It means that whatever result was obtained in Satyug by meditating on Vishnu, then in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapar Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the holy names of Krishna, which is given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself in the form of his devotee, has given us the Mahamantra and has also given us the clear instruction. Harirnam, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nastiv, 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 Gatir Anyatha. It means that there is no other way, no other way, no other way in Kali Yuga than chanting the holy name of Hari. And this is the process of Bhakti Yoga. In all the other yogas, whether it is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Dhyan Yoga, the control of senses is practiced. But in Bhakti Yoga, only the senses are not controlled, rather, it is engaged in the direct service of Krishna. For instance, rather than controlling the eyes can be engaged to admire the beautiful Vigraha of Radha Madhav, Shyam Sundar, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Raman, Radha Damodar, Radha Govindev, Radha Gopinath, or Krishna Balaram enjoying the childhood pastimes in Vrindavan. Then the ears can be engaged in listening to Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Krishna Kirtan in the association of devotees, and most importantly, the tongue should be utilized in eating only and only Krishna Prasadam and speaking about the most beautiful pastimes of Krishna and his devotees. By doing such simple things, one can easily control the senses and get very easily transported to the transcendental platform of either the impersonal Brahman or to straight Golok Vrindavan Dham, which is the eternal home of Krishna. Now it's for us to decide which path we are going to opt. Sense control is compulsory in Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Dhyan Yoga. But in Bhakti Yoga, the senses are to be engaged in the loving service of Krishna, like Shravan, Kirtanam and Smaranam. And this process does not require any previous qualifications and gives the highest benefit, that is, the association of Krishna, from where no one ever comes back to this temporary material world. Now, we have to use our intellect and select the path. All the yogas are meant to reach us to Krishna, but the easiest path is by following the Bhakti Marg of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now, I am very sure that we have understood this verse very nicely. Krishna says in this verse that the person who knows the main aim of various sacrifices, that is, it is the sense control, becomes cleansed of all the sinful reactions, and having tasted the fruits of such sacrifices, he goes to the supreme eternal atmosphere and thus lives permanently in the association of Krishna. Now, in the next verse, we will come to know about those people who do not do any kind of yajna sacrifices, which means they are the people who do not practice any sense control. We will come to know what happens to such people. Now, I bow down in front of Srila Prabhupada and my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Hari Mohan Prabhuji, for teaching us and explaining us the most secretive knowledge of Bhagwat Gita. I thank each one of you for patiently listening to Bhagavad Gita shlokas, and I request you all to practice the Bhakti Yoga, which is the easiest way to get back to Krishna. Now we shall meet the next week, and till then, keep chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In case you have any questions, please do write in the comment box, and please do share the Bhagavad Gita videos with others, as this is the only way to get back to Krishna from this temporary material world. Hare Krishna.